My name is Colin and I live in my 136-inch wheelbase Dodge Promaster. So today we're going to be giving you guys a quick little tour of my home. So in early spring of this year, I actually decided that I was going to move out of my apartment and move into my van. And this was really a combination of multiple factors. Number one, I was paying for an apartment. I was paying for my car, like my car insurance. And I was traveling every weekend to bike races and then paying for hotels on top of all of that. So this became a pretty good choice for me to purchase a van and do the conversion. I bought the van in the beginning of August and it took me about 3 weeks to fully convert it. And I was on a pretty tight time schedule, so I was doing about 12 hours a day while I was working. I really think it came out nice. It's been serving me very well, and I've lived in the van for about a month and a half right now. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a cost analysis to run through everything, all my expenses with the van conversion and actually purchasing the van. So I own the van outright. I saved up for this for a little while, and it cost me about $6,000 to convert the van. So altogether, it's really not that bad because I was considering spending about the total amount of money that I put into the van with the conversion and the purchase of the van. I was looking at buying a new Subaru for that price anyway. So it was really logical to me that I would purchase a space that I could actually live in. So first off, I'm going to show you guys the kitchen area. It's actually really nice. I've surprisingly been cooking a lot of meals, which helps me save a lot of money. I have a propane stove, so really anything that involves me cooking on a stovetop, I can cook. And you really get creative. Like you can cook some things you didn't think you could cook on a stovetop, so it's pretty nice. In the future, I am actually looking into getting some type of propane oven just to allow me, just to open up more capability to save some money and cook more instead of eating out. So next I'll show you guys a sink. A lot of people, when they hear that I'm living in a van, think that I just don't have running water or anything. They're pretty surprised about this. So I have a foot pump actually that is located under the sink, and the foot pump really helps me conserve water actually. So one thing I really like about having the sink is I'm able to wash my dishes. Out here in Colorado, sometimes it gets a little bit cold, so I had to actually insulate all my pipes, and I had to create some insulation sleeves for my water tanks. And sometimes I've woken up, it's only October, but I've woken up and it's been nearly single digits, like 11 degrees in the morning. And the van is heavily insulated, but by the end of the night, I won't run the heat over the night. Like I have a 0-degree sleeping bag, and that keeps me warm enough while I'm in bed. But when I wake up, it's probably 10 or 20 degrees at the most above the outside temperature, more on the side of 10. So sometimes my water has actually frozen. If I know it's gonna be really cold, I'll actually drain the system before the night. And now I'm just gonna go under, eventually I'm working on creating a door for this, but this is actually a thermal insulation curtain. So it helps when I sometimes I'll run an electric heater, a really small electric heater to keep my pipes warm, because that's one of my main concerns. So I actually created this sleeve out of Reflectix material, and anyone who has seen any van videos or anything knows about this material because it's used in everything. I use it to cover all of my windows in the front, all of my windows in the back. I used it in the roof to trap the heat. So this is a real wonder material, but you have to know how to use it the right way for it to be effective. I have 10 gallons of fresh water. I'll usually fill up at a grocery store. A lot of the times they have filtered water stations for very low prices per gallon. I go through about 10 gallons of water every 10 days, I'd probably say. It really depends on how much cooking I'm doing, what I'm cooking. If I'm cooking pasta, if I'm making a lot of coffee, that all consumes a lot of my water. But normally I'm pretty good. So this is where all the fun stuff is. This is my garage, or sometimes I refer to it as the gear shed. So I have a lot of gear. There's a lot of different sports that I love. That's the reason that I live in a van. It really allows me to just go out and do whatever I want. So here are my skis, and then I have my Alpine touring boots, full backpacking setup, 2 bikes, bunch of rock climbing shoes. These 2 bins are full of rock climbing stuff, camping stuff. So I have everything I need. If I was to get a text right now that I had to be in California on moments notice. Like I could hop in the car and drive there and have everything. Like there's no forgetting stuff because I'm taking everything with me, which is really nice. I built these underbed storage containers. They're really nice. These are like really common in dorm areas, so they fit really nicely on my storage area. There's some tucked away storage areas back here. And then I have my full electrical system on the wall. It's kind of blocked by my skis, but I have a fuse box, and it is tied to my battery. So I have the main wires running there, and then everything else is coming off of that fuse box. So one of the most important things for me is I needed a workspace. I work in the tech industry and I work remotely. So I needed somewhere that was really comfortable and that I was able to get my work, sit down, get my work done and focus. So this is what I have. This is a reclaimed wood piece that I actually stained myself. All of this is reclaimed, and you can see there's a lot of different pieces that I have gotten from that were just going to be thrown out. So I'm pretty happy that I was able to repurpose these different building materials that were overstocked at other sites. So I actually mounted a monitor with a TV mount, and that is just going right into this wood panel that screws right into a metal pillar as well. So it's not going anywhere. It allows me to dock my computer, to have two screens if I'm doing any coding or anything like that, because I definitely like to have two screens and not just working off a laptop. I do have my desktop with me for some video editing. That is in the back in one of the containers. So if I'm doing some more like skiing in the winter, I think I'm going to pull it out, put it under here, and I'm fully able to run all of that off of my house battery. So my house battery is 140 amp hour Goal Zero. It has a 1500 watt inverter. So I tried to run everything off 12 volt. So all the stuff you see here is 12 volt. 12 volt is a lot easier to work with because you don't have to run the inverter. But when I'm running anything like charging Nate's camera batteries or charging my computer or running this monitor, I'll just turn on the inverter and then I have 120 volt power, and it's really nice. The Goal Zero is definitely the simplest solution if you're looking to just... Now let's take a little bit more of a look at my workspace. Everything in the van has to be, you have to really think through everything. So this isn't, I could just have a chair, but that would be a waste of space. This is actually full of blankets, towels, and any other overstock type of stuff that if I want it to get out of the way. But you can see it's full. So yeah. And then when I'm sitting down at my desk, actually, I have this little, it's kind of jammed in there right now, but I'm gonna put it on some drawer slides. But I have this for my keyboard. If I have a cup of coffee that I don't want to spill. Sometimes, like right now, we're parked on a little bit of a slant. So sometimes things will slide, so I don't want them to go on my laptop, basically. But this is a great little addition that I kind of thought about. And this was like a piece of wood that was going to go to waste. So I thought about just using it for this purpose. And it just slides right back. So this is my set of drawers. All my clothes are in there. And then I have one of the drawers that has a lock on it that is for my technology. This is my refrigerator. It's an ARB. It's like their medium size one. It's super power efficient. And it is a top open drawer. So instead of the ones that open up in the front, you actually lose a lot of cold air. But since the cold air sits low and doesn't rise, when you open it up from the top, it's actually a real efficient system. And then, like I said before, there's a lot of hooks. I have a jacket on here. This is going to be for tonight, quick access, because it is going to get cold tonight. It's already getting cold right now. I have a lot more shoe storage here. These are the shoes that I'm wearing daily. My road running shoes, my cycling shoes, my trail running shoes. So I don't really want to have to, there's some situations where I don't want to expose the fact that I'm living in a van if I'm parked in like a residential neighborhood. So I don't want to open up the back and then people could see everything. So I'll just hop in and out real quickly, grab my shoes, get changed. But this works very well for, because it was unused space anyway. In the future, I am planning on taking this entire kitchen area and kind of customizing it, building it over the refrigerator all the way to the bed. But I did this build in 3 weeks, so I kind of built room into my budget for improvements later. So now we're going to talk about my bed space. One of the factors that actually played into my van of choice was I chose the Promaster because I'm able to sleep widthwise, and that is massive because otherwise my bed would be probably right here. So like I said before in the beginning of the video, I have the 136-inch wheelbase. That's a little bit smaller. It works out perfectly for me, but that is smaller than the ones that you may have seen in some of the YouTube videos where people have like a full kitchen and then they have benches here. So I had to make use of the space that I had, but this van works out perfectly for me because I can park it in a normal parking space and have no problems. It also blends in better than some of these other vans that are nearly as long as school buses. So for those who are interested, the bed size is in between a full and a queen. I bought queen size everything. So the foam pads on the bottom, I bought, there are multiple foam pads that I kind of layered on. It's pretty comfortable. There were a lot of these mattresses that you would buy in a box and then they like unroll and decompress. They're really expensive, and I thought I could accomplish the same thing by just combining a bunch of cheaper foam pads, and it's worked out really well for me so far. But I will buy a queen size and then I'll just cut it down. So I have just a normal queen size comforter on here, and then I have a lot of down blankets. These are really nice. They're pretty versatile. So I actually use these when I go backpacking a lot. Like I've sewn some of them into underquilts and a lot of other stuff for my backpacking needs. And then when it's really cold, I'll use my 0-degree sleeping bag in addition to all this other stuff. So like on a really cold night, I'm not running the heat the whole night, so you're gonna wake up at some point and realize that all the blankets are off and you're really cold. So it is nice to have that 0-degree bag that's zipped up around you and not just sliding around like these down blankets.